Sawadika, I'm Lugal from Thailand. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Okay, so for Pacific Rim Uprising, it's like one of the first big screen movies that you've directed, right? And it's such a mega blockbuster. How do you feel to be directing a movie that like so many people in the world are waiting for?
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. Growing up, I had always wanted to write and direct movies. And that was my plan coming out of college, was to write and direct movies. And then I fell into television, and I had so much fun and was having such a great time in TV.
Yeah.
I put features on hold, and then after about 15 years in television, I wanted to go back to features. And I was planning on doing a very small feature as my first one. And then Mary Parent, the producer, called up and said, "What do you think about Pacific Rim 2?"
Wow.
And I'm still amazed that I got the opportunity not only to do a movie of this size, but a genre that I love, and a sequel to a Guillermo del Toro movie, and I'm such a huge Guillermo fan.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you
I've
very
seen it
much.
myself and it's excellent.
Thank you.
Well, besides directing, you also did the screenplay and scripts. Can you give us a bit of a synopsis about the new battle between the kaijus and the Jaegers?
Sure. It's 10 years after the breach has been closed.
Yeah.
There hasn't been another kaiju attack in that time. Humanity has had a chance to really come together and build from the ground up the next generation of Jaegers, and also to start training the next generation of Jaeger pilots. Meanwhile, the precursors, the evil aliens on the other side of the breach, have had 10 years to redesign the kaiju to be more fearsome and more of a challenge. And ultimately, the movie is about humanity coming together to fight this otherworldly threat.
Well, talking about that, it's a very significant thing that you use the themes of so many characters being multinational, no matter what agenda they are. What inspired you to put such an input of the message in the film?
This is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've tried to do in my TV shows, especially with Spartacus and Daredevil, was to have as many different cultures as possible, often speaking their native language, which to me just feels right in the world today. The world is a vast place, but with technology and social media, it's gotten much smaller. And just to have that feel to remind everyone that it doesn't matter where you're from, we're all part of the same community. It was a thrill to get to take that from the first Pacific Rim movie and make it even more important in this movie.
Yeah, so conveying unity and harmony in the world. Can you tell me about why the lead actors and actresses, John Boyega, Scott Eastwood, and Kaylee Spaney, are suitable for their roles?
Starting with John Boyega, I don't think there's another young actor out there like John Boyega. He just brings such humor and warmth and roguish adventurism to this role. He always reminds me of a young Harrison Ford. He's just that classic kind of hero. And once we cast John, we wanted his foil, his opposite. So we settled on Scott Eastwood. And Scott, when you first see him in the movie, he is a soldier, he's a military man. As soon as you see him, you understand who he is. Yeah. But then what Scott brought to it is, as you peel back the layers, his humor, his warmth, and his friendship with John was just so important. And with Kaylee, Kaylee was one of the most difficult roles to cast. We looked all over the world for this role, and this is Kaylee's first movie. And to find a young actress that had so much talent and was so amazing on screen, and it hadn't been seen by anyone, it was such a joy to find her.
Wow. Well, as an Asian, I want to know more about the many Asian actors and actresses that you worked with on this film, because there's so many Asian characters. How was it working with Jing Tian, one of the lead actresses in the film, and can you tell me about her role?
Tian was such a joy. It was the first time I've ever worked with her. I had known her more recent work from The Great Wall and Skull Island, and this was a huge role and very demanding, with dialogue in both Mandarin and in English. and man, she just threw herself into it. She was not only fantastic on screen, but the interesting thing for the audience, when you see her on screen, especially in the beginning of the movie, she is very fierce. She is very scary.
Very stunning.
And if you've ever met Tian for 5 minutes, she's exactly the opposite.
Really?
She is so funny and warm and wonderful. I loved working with her so much, and her work on this movie, I think, is really fantastic.
Great. Now, last thing, you have a lot of Thai fans who admire your work. Can you greet them in Thai by saying "Sawadee Krap"? And can you also invite fans to come out and see Pacific Rim on the 22nd of March?
Sure. Sawadee Krap.
Yeah.
And come out to see Pacific Rim on March 22nd.